It's like a bull in a fighting ring with a matador, as we got the Bears taking on the Bulls, B squared, at the Bear Cave, Triple B. What a matchup it is going to be against two of the top teams in the NBL1 East. North with only 4 losses, Inner West with only 3 losses this season. It is going to be crazy, James. Thanks for joining us, as always, for 2 Feet in the Paint preview for the Friday night matchup against these two teams going at it, James.
Yeah, we've been looking forward to this matchup all season, to the top teams in the competition. But Garen, last week, the Bulls were on parade against the Hornsby Karinga Spiders, an 84-59 drubbing. And it wasn't the usual suspects for the Inner West Bulls who stepped up. It was actually a good team performance, good spread all over the team, a lot of players in double figures. And what really stood out actually was their defense. Sometimes this Bulls team can be known just for their offense with their shooters, their power dunkers in the front court. But defensively, they actually showed that they can really switch it on when needed. In fact, had 14 steals that game. And that's to go along with a great ball movement and good spread of scoring. And Garen, stepping up in that game with 14 rebounds, but only 9 points, was Alexander Higgins-Titcher. Garen, what do you know about AHT, averaging 17 points, 9 rebounds this season?
Well, unselfish. Plays on the UTS squad where he might have more responsibility. But with guys like Blake Morrow and Chris Bryant, he's able to do a whole lot of other things. Maybe play off ball a little bit, play that dunker spot, maybe play that little mid-range, that float game, experiment a little bit under Coach DK. So he's always going to rebound. Whatever team he's on, he's going to give energy, he's going to rebound in the right positions. Knows how to box out well and does the intangibles right. So good to see him rebound. 14 rebounds is solid work.
Yeah, and Lewis Holey's going to have his work cut out as well. That's going to be one of the key matchups of the game. I mean, Lewis Holey, one of the best rebounders, but Higgins-Titcher, if you let him get some of those O-boards going, it really fills up the rebounding and the scoring. And Garen, another player, the import. Okay, which one are we going to talk about? Blake Morrow, Chris Bryant? We're going to start with Blake Morrow to start. The absolute sharpshooter. 10 and 12 last game. Again, that's a little low, but as we said, a lot of bench players getting heaps of minutes in that Hornsby Karinga Spiders game. But on the season, averaging 22 points and 5 rebounds as well. Garen, Blake Morrow, what's his style?
Well, he brought that shooting from Queen's University, Charlotte. Definitely. Good floor spacer, quick trigger. But has really good shot IQ. It doesn't force a whole lot of shots as a shooter. Doesn't chuck up a whole lot of shots. Looks for his teammates and plays unselfish. So past teams were Queen's University from Charlotte, and then the basketball league played there with the Tampa Bay squad. So good to see him repping it out in the US, but bringing his talents down here for your Inner West squad and providing that much needed sharp shooting and the dunking demon.
Yeah,
Bryant CB. I mean, boy, what a signing, what a pickup it's been. I had the privilege to actually coach against him in local comp, and pretty good coach as well. Sort of reminds me of the Hakeem Warwick kind of play style. Plays the dunker spot well, has a mid-range where it forces the defense to come out and stretch the floor. Can beat you off the dribble for that little float action game. 3-level scorer in this league, so good to see him get it. And what fun facts you got on my boy CB?
Well, yeah, you're talking about the basketball league earlier. So Blake Morrow playing for Tampa Bay, but Chris Bryant playing for Tallahassee. For those who don't know, it's about a second, third division kind of semi-pro league in the USA. But yeah, if you've got talented players like this, just goes to show how competitive it is there. But thank God we got both of them in the NBL1 now. In fact, Chris Bryant...
check out his dunks.
Yeah, check out his dunks. We're going to have him in the highlights for sure. But was connected with the Inner West Bulls via LinkedIn, which was very random. As a little earlier that, it was just kind of looking for a team, putting out feelers. And one thing led to another. I ended up reaching out to Coach DK and... ended up in Australia, tried out, and boy, has it paid off, because the Inner West Bulls are just on fire this year. They're kind of middle of the pack last year, but with these new signings to go with the players they already had, they're looking like real title threats. But it's not just the superstar starters. This Inner West Bulls team is seriously deep, and we're going to talk about 2 key bench players for them who really could be starters on any other team. Of course, Nico Timonira, the point general, the point guard, the point guard, another one of those UTS players playing for the Inner West Bulls. He's just very safe, Garen. He doesn't overshoot, passes at the right time, and he can really set up the offense well, run the plays, and very solid defensively. He's very well built for a point guard. Suffered an injury earlier this season, but good to have him back. Starts some games, comes off the bench some games, but Nico Timonira is just so crucial for the success for this Inner West Bulls team, and just another one of those reliable players Coach DK can chuck out there. As is another player, Garen, who really caught your eye this season.
Tolliver, and I did not expect him to drop 35 off the bench against
Tony.
Comets. Winning player of the week. Can really stretch the floor, and that's what he's known for. If his shot's on, it is on, and you got to get out to that, and you got to make sure you close out. Yeah, one of their scorers and much needed scorers off this very talented starting
and
roster.
a big body as well, super muscly.
Yeah, can work around the post, has that little jump hook, soft touch around the rim. So obviously does work in the off time to really work on his game and pat down the minor details. To be that little scoring punch they need off the bench. So Tolliver has been nothing but great. Played for the Canterbury Rams in the New Zealand NBL back in the day, and the New Zealand All Blacks with his national team. So
has experience all round. I mean, and to just have an international player coming off your bench just goes to show how good this Bulls team is. And Garen, one of your favourite players from back in the day, he's been a star in Waratah League since maybe before we were both born. Who is it?
Goran Veg. Good to see him ball this year. After being an assistant coach last year with the Inner West Bulls, coming out of coaching and had the itch and just wanted to play. Played for several teams, I believe. Penrith, he was a Penrith junior. Then played for Hills. Played for a bunch of teams. So good to see him repping this year, playing. Still has hops. Can still dunk. Don't know his exact age. Don't want to give it on camera, but given his age and the fact that he can still get up there and catch a few bodies and still score and be an offensive threat, and even play good defense and be a rim running, what they call it, chase down block artist. Good to see him still be that former Waratah League dunk champion.
Don't worry, we'll bring up those highlights, Garen. I mean, I know we've shared them a few times and tipped it in the paint, but that was impressive. And bring back the dunk contest. I mean, we've got the NBL1 East Finals locked in at USID. So let's see if we can get a dunk contest, 3-point shootout. Let's chuck Blake Morrow in that one.
And a real commander, really hits the weight room and just takes care of his body, good nutrition, and the fact that he's still able to play. I think he is the oldest male in the NBL1 East men this season. And
suiting up also for the Inner West Bulls, we have a ton of former Bears. There's heaps of players who kind of switch between the two clubs. Big shout out to Nate Chappell, actually, former Bear playing for the Inner West Bulls Youth League. You know, Nate's a big fan of the channel and also working at North as well. So big shout out to Nate, really nice guy off the court, talented on the court as well. And also the Morgans used to play for the Bulls as well. But two former Bears players who are so important for those championship years under Ben Knight. We've got Lyndon Smith-Hyde as well as Jimmy McCann. Garen, Jimmy McCann, you were watching Waratah League back then. I mean, what did he bring for that Bears team?
Yeah, he was a consistent point guard, didn't overshoot, knew how to set up the offense, finds teammates well. Doesn't really turn the ball over a whole lot. Just a reliable point guard that you can have on your team. So he's the vet. Him and Goran are the vets of this team. Probably the coaches on the bench, the guys that are hyping up the players, giving their little insights here and there. And then another former Bear, Aaron Nankara.
Yeah, Aaron Nankara, one of our favourite players, Garen. I mean, we're sad to see him leave the Bears, but another one of those players playing UTS basketball as well. Aaron Nankara, of course, started his career with the St. George Dragons. St. George Saints, sorry, I was thinking about the rugby league and there.
The Sharkies too.
Yeah, and the Sharks too. And had the brief stint with the Bears, but was pretty effective there. Nice up-and-coming big, but good to see him getting an opportunity over at the Bulls. And the one other UTS player we had to list, so we've got Alexander Higgins-Titcher, Aaron Nankaro, Nico Tuminira, and Ben Baston. You've got to think that's really good for the chemistry of this Inner West Bulls team.
Absolutely.
To have those players traveling, playing together,
more
training together. Exactly.
Yeah, and this powerhouse of the Inner West team, also coached by former North Youth League coach Danny Kim. And where hasn't he coached? From being an assistant to the Illawarra Hawks, to being a scout assistant for the Adelaide 36ers, now with the Inner West second season with the Inner West Bulls, and what a great job he's done building culture in this team, making sure the imports fit in this team well, handling glove fit, they've all been. It's been awesome to see him coach such a talented group of grown men who really just want to have fun, play basketball and win at the same time.
And how do you think they get so many talented players, Garen? It's because of Danny Kim. I mean, he's a great people person too. Yeah, so people want to play for him. I mean, even if they're imports from Florida, they hear about him. He's got a great reputation, Danny Kim. And
track record,
and has just been playing a great brand of basketball with his Inner West Bulls team, and I think that's really reflected in their record. So it's going to be an absolute ripper at the Bear Cave. We've got a Friday night game, so school holidays, no excuses. Let's get everyone down there.
Friday night game for the Bears for the season. So if you're not doing anything on a Friday night, grab your popcorn, get your drinks. Good game. It's going to be good action. Bulls, Bears, Bear Cave, Triple B. Check it out. Friday night.